helps. Okay, I assume that we are live. So, this is just my second time at live streaming, so I don't not thrillers. I don't know why it means it's got to be in this orientation, and also unfortunately it means I've got to have this mirror look. Anyone out there? Oh, family, too important. Howdy, howdy. Nice to see you. So welcome to Bizarre Brain Comics, and I want to thank you for joining me. And if you saw my notice from earlier in the week and then decided to tune in, then you probably know that we're going to be talking about Tarzan. Tarzan, Tarzan. Oh! Ha ha! Finally, nice to meet you live. Well, hey, you too, even though it's still only on one end. Yeah, Tarzan. I was going to talk about Tarzan of the comic strips. And I'll wait just a little bit to see if we get anybody else on here. And I don't plan on being too long. Maybe I got actually had a hustle to get ready because my wife left a little bit later than I had anticipated. So I should have set it for like 6:20 or so. Oh, I'm doing fine. How you doing? It's cold out. We got this cold snap this last couple of days. Just a little bit of snow, not much, but it has been, mostly between 0 and 10 degrees Fahrenheit here, here in Colorado, or at least in the Denver area. So there's Tarzan. Ooh, and most of the stuff that I plan on showing tonight, I have shown before in other videos. There's some that's not. I haven't shown at all. Let's see. Oh, we got three. Who else we got? Who else is out there? It says I got three. So say howdy, whoever you are, before I get started talking about the comic strips. I didn't even get a chance to wax up my beard and mustache to make myself a little more presentable. What are you doing, cat? Cat's acting crazy over here. He's not even our cat. He belongs to a neighbor. His name is Trix, and he is a trickster, and he's real pretty, black, a tuxedo cat, and and he belongs to a neighbor, but he's decided he likes to visit us, and then when it gets cold like this, he won't go out, so he won't. I can't even get him to go home for the past 3 days. He's been here with us. Okay. Oh, John B. Let's take a puff and enjoy on yeah, my on my pipe. I smoke. For those who might wonder, no, I don't smoke the wacky stuff at all. Never have, never wanted to. But what I do smoke is cigar tobacco. I'm a big cigar person, but in recent years cigars have gotten very expensive, and so I get some relatively inexpensive cigars, and then either smoke the cigars and leave a big butt and smoke that tobacco in my pipe, or just smoke the cigar tobacco virgin in there, and because I can get like one Churchill cigar will last me all day, so it's more economical. Who else? Oh, we got John B. and what is it? That lettering is so small I can't make it out. Triple X and June. Okay. Oh, 21 out there. Jeez, 14. Well, I lost some, I guess. It says 14 now. So thank you for joining me. Now, I showed you this Tarzan figure at the minute. I've had this Tarzan in some of my videos before. This is one of the Tarzan toys that I plan on sometime doing a whole episode or a live stream on just on Tarzan toys. This came out with in conjunction with the Tarzan: The Epic Adventures TV series about 30 years ago, and I got several of those toys. But it seems to be modeled after Russ Manning's Tarzan, at least in the face. Russ Manning's Tarzan from the comic strips. So, and that kind of leads into where we want to be. It says Juniper play. Okay, John. It's not Christmas anymore. Nope, it's not Christmas. Don't have any Christmas. I like those swords on the wall. Those are just cat. The cat's playing with the string on my shoe. Yeah, we got swords on the wall. We got swords all over the house because my wife and I we do stuff for barbarian stuff at the Renaissance Festival, and now I got to find my notes. There it is, and you can see the right above me right here is that is the symbol of one of the banners that we use for Renaissance Festival for our group, the Feral Horde. It says, is that Jackie-O? Greetings, and family to family. Looks like the Rambo with less clothes. I wouldn't know. I've never seen the Rambo figure, I don't think. Okay, so are you Tarzan fans? Let me ask you, when were you first introduced to the Tarzan character? If you're about 40 years or younger, chances are it was probably the Disney Tarzan. And then there were also two live action TV series plus the Disney animated series, The Legend of Tarzan, and of course then the more recent Legend of Tarzan movie, live action movie, which was good, but it had some writing and CGI problems. Anyway, for the comic strip though, well, of course, Tarzan. Well, I'll just get you my notes here. Tarzan of the Apes. It first appeared in the 1912 novel by Edgar Rice Burroughs, published in serial form in All Story Pulp magazine, and in 1918 was it was the first film saw the first film adaptation of the character, which was yeah, was it just Tarzan or Tarzan? I don't remember. I've got it on DVD, the silent movie, and he proved to be an immensely popular property. And yeah, see this, and this is one of the books versions. This is the version that I first read of Tarzan of the Apes when I was about 11 or 12 years old. That was a library copy, but I picked this up probably about 30 years ago, maybe even longer than that. But this is a copy, and it's you're probably seeing it in reverse. That yeah, I heard of him. Looks like you're probably seeing it in reverse. I can't help that. That's the way this thing works. When I try to do it horizontally, the phone says I gotta I gotta move it. Which makes no sense to me. This is stupid. Anyway, yeah, and he made the jump to comics in January of 1929. That was the comic strips, initially from Metro News Service. In 1929 as a full-page Sunday strip. And then about 2 years later, it was distributed by United Feature Syndicate, and it ran up until 2002, and thereafter is in reprints. Rex Maxon started the daily strip in 1931, but the initial daily strip was started. I think I skipped some. Was started by the Sunday page was started by the great Hal Foster. Now, it just so happens that today I like to. I'm back down to 3 people. Oh well. It just so happens that today I YouTuber, Michael K. Vaughn. Are any of you familiar with Michael K. Vaughn? He is a booktuber, but he also does comic book stuff on Wednesdays. And it just so happens that today he was talking about Tarzan of the Apes in comics, and most specifically, it was the Joe Kubert adaptation of Tarzan of the Apes uh, at DC Comics, which is, as far as I could, it's got to be the definitive comic book adaptation of the novel of Tarzan of the Apes. Unfortunately, I've never seen. Says, yeah. Oh, good. You watch Michael K. Vaughn. You know, yay, Michael K. Vaughn. I love his stuff. And uh, uh, of course, Hal Foster did an adaptation, but unfortunately, I've never seen his adaptation of Tarzan of the Apes, so I don't know how close it was. But it probably can't be any closer uh, than uh, Joe Kubert's. Okay, this, like I say, it was started by Hal Foster, which then followed by Bern Hogarth, Ruben Moria, I can't even pronounce his name, Dan Barry, um, Paul Ryman, Bob Lubers, uh, John Salardo, can't read my own writing, Russ Manning, Gil Kane, Mike Grell, Gray Morrow, and Eric Battle. Eric Battle apparently was the last one doing the strip. I think they do an online strip for Edgar Rice Burroughs Incorporated with Tom Yeats. Uh, I'm not positive. Tom Yeats did some of the. I don't even know who's got the rights for the character in the comic books anymore. Um, but I've got several reprint books of the comic strip, starting with Volume 2. These were a series of these big ones, reprinting the comic pages. This is from Flying Buttress Classics Library. And this is from 1994, so they ran from like 1994 to 98, I think. The most recent one I've got was from 98. And this is done by Hal Foster. I don't see if you can see some of his work. Now, my first introduction to the comic strip works of Tarzan was actually in an issue of DC's Tarzan. Joe Kubert, who was as well as being the writer and artist, was also the editor of the DC Comics. See, this is issue 2, volume 2. He also, but they had a couple of issues. One issue, which adapted one of the stories. I think it's in here. Oh, guess not. One of the stories, Hal Foster stories, to comics, which edited out a lot of the pictures, and then some of the others art that needed to be done he did himself. And this is volume 5. We skipped some. This volume 2 is from 1932 to 1933. Here, this is volume 5, still Hal Foster, and of course Hal Foster quit doing it to create his own strip which he owned the rights to, which was of course Prince Valiant. This was from 35 to 36, and in that issue they adapted one of the Hal Foster's stories to the comic book, and then he did. My second bit of introduction was when he did the same thing for a Bern Hogarth story. He adapted one of those to comic book form. This is volume 6, 1936 and 37. This starts off as Hal Foster. Sorry, it's in reverse, but it's Hal Foster, and it concludes with Bern Hogarth. So, and initially Bern Hogarth. Here's the story that they used in the Tarzan comic book at DC. It was something about some people enslaved in mining, forced mining, and something. And and that was adapted to comic book. And if you notice that Hal Foster is an excellent draftsman and great storyteller, and but he's this of course would have been the entire page of the comics Sunday comics. All this would have been one page, and in full color and about this size, maybe a little larger, and he generally speaking, Hal Foster used even mostly for the most part later in when his Prince Valiant still used he used this specific grid all the time. Eventually in Prince Valiant he switched it up a little bit, his page layouts, but it was pretty relatively strict on this page layout, and it was he used stage theatrical staging for his illustrations, and didn't vary that much from it. Then back here, yeah, and here we go with the first stuff done in the comics by Bern Hogarth, and he carried on doing it the same way initially. The same setup, the same theatrical staging, etc. You know, when I say that theatrical staging, it was the it's a little further away. There was a fuller. You didn't focus in on stuff. It's also kind of like the way some of the earliest movies were. Oh, keep forgetting to look here. You heard of him? That's it. Oliver, book recommendations. Tarzan. There have been some new Tarzan novels written and as published by Edgar Rice Burroughs Incorporated. And you can go there online and order all of the old original Burroughs novels as well as the new ones. And it's not just Tarzan; they have some of the other characters as well. New novels for some of the other characters. Mm. Oh, dope! Hey, brother. Glad you could make it. Sorry, no horror stuff here. Just Tarzan. Okay, now this is what is it? Volume 8, 1939. But they made a mistake on the dust jacket. They still listed it as which I'm sorry, it's in reverse. Still listed as Hal. For some reason, they accidentally listed as Hal Foster when it's actually Bern Hogarth doing the artwork. And you can see here his style has started changing a little bit. He's drawing a little less like Hal Foster, and we're beginning to see Hogarth's own styles coming through, and he's doing a little bit more inventive page layouts. And this is volume 9, and you can see the getting more dynamic. Of course, Bern Hogarth is best known, of course, for doing the Tarzan strips, but he's also for decades was an educator. Started his own school with cartoonists and illustrators school, I think is what it was called, and then it changed names. And he actually eventually went to a different school, and he wrote a lot of books on drawings, but dynamic anatomy and how to draw drapery, clothing and stuff. So volume 9, 39 and 40. And we can really see his style evolving, and he gets more his figures. Here we go. Get even more dynamic, and his some really great backgrounds and settings and the like. And this is still Hogarth. This is volume 10. And I had something marked here. What was that? Doesn't matter. That was something else. And then volume 10, that was 1940 and 1941. And here's volume 12, 42 and 43. still, but we see here he's still working largely on the original, but he gets some innovative uh, panel designs and page layouts. And somewhere along here, he started doing they were doing the dailies as well, and the daily stuff, especially from back then, is stuff I've never seen reprinted. So I don't know where. There have been more recent reprint volumes out there. Now here you can really see how Hogarth's style has evolved, get even more dynamic, and still a little bit up with the page designs. And then this one is volume. This is the last one I've got for here. Burn Hogarth. This is volume 18 from 49 and 50. And in this issue, in this volume, as I showed it once before, we get. Come on. The last page done by Hogarth. That's this one right here. It's the last page done by Hogarth in the strip. With this page over here is the first one drawn by, what was his name? Well, I know it's written here because I saw it. I saw it before. I can't remember his full name. His name is, oh, here it is. Bob Lubers, and he followed on pretty much initially imitating Burn Hogarth's style and page layouts. And I don't know much, haven't seen much about that. I forget. What do you mean I'm the only comic book guy you know? Not just comic books. I love comic strips, especially the old adventure strips. I was so sad when you just don't see adventure strips. You barely see. I don't even get the paper anymore because it's not worth reading those comic strips. It probably would be, but it's not worth getting for it. And but as I said, those reprints was my introduction to the comic strip that was done in the DC Comics. Then. When they started doing Tarzan Family, the larger says, "Greetings from Tucson." It's Jeff Grant. Hi, Tucson. And the I lost my train of thought. I hate it when that happens. It happens more and more often the older I get. Tarzan Family, and they started reprinting some of the Russ Manning comic strips. It says, "Hey everyone, it's Jacob Bornowski." Ooh, I've gone up to I got six now. Okay, and then they published this. I loved this, and this is a book that I got over 50 years ago. This is a digest-sized comic reprinting, and this is Edgar S. Burroughs presents Tarzan, DC Digest Comics #1. See if you can see that. Of course, it's reversed. Joe Kubert cover, same image on the back, but the inside is adapting newspaper comic strip stories from by Russ Manning from the comics newspaper comics, and putting it in this form. So this is one of my pride and joys. I've had this book so long, and it's and I think I've seen this one other copy once some years ago, and that was my introduction to that. So since I've got more people now, again, let me know out there, what was your introduction to the Tarzan character? In my case, it was the 1960s Ron Ely TV series. Oh, and I instantly loved it. I instantly loved it. And I remember my mother or other family members they would talk about the old Tarzan movies and stuff, Tarzan and Jane, and of course they didn't have Jane in there and stuff. And that got me into the comic books. Uh, from the TV show, and then I saw comic books, and I started following, the Gold Key comics, and which led me into the Tarzan novels, Edgar Rice Burroughs novels, which led me into Edgar Rice Burroughs, who is my favorite author, and Tarzan of the Apes is my favorite novel. It says howdy, family, other people watching it. Oh, how many comics do you read a day? Oh, well, not very many really. I'd like to. I usually seldom get a chance to. I was reading a part of one a little bit ago. I get to read them kind of piecemeal, and it's mostly before I go to bed. And I'll read part of one, part of another one, and something that I'm planning on doing an episode about. And also, so in the '60s, now it wasn't mentioned in my research, so I don't know. I've got this book here, Nick Cardy comic strips. Now Nick Cardy is a big artist at DC in the '60s and '70s. Did covers. It was he did the Teen Titans and some Aquaman, but then he just started doing covers, all kinds of covers. Well, apparently in the early '50s, he worked on the Tarzan comic strip for like 5 months. And in this volume, they've reproduced all five. I haven't even read it yet. All five, everything that he did. Now it might have been ghosting. I don't know. And you can see Nick Cardy. If you can get a little look there, see that a little bit. Nick Cardy doing the comic strip. And he did a fine job. He may have been ghosting or maybe just assisting, like inking or something. I don't know. It doesn't really specify. But that was a comic strip. And of course, the one who was most closely identified with the Tarzan comic strip, of course, is Russ Manning. And I have here a couple of volumes reprinting some of what he did in the comic strips. This is from Blackthorn. This is book 3, Comic Strip Preserves, Tarzan by Edgar Rice Burroughs. And it is book 3 of a 4-book mini-series featuring the art of Russ Manning. And this is the only one of those that I ever saw. And of course this is done black and white. Of course it couldn't just sit there, it had to drop. Everything has to fall on the floor. And see if you can see that. Of course we all know, especially if you're a Tarzan fan, familiar with the late Russ Manning. Of course, he started doing Tarzan for Gold Key Comics, and then he got hired away to do the comic strip. So, and this particular volume was from 1986. Then here's another one that has 2 adventures: The Land That Time Forgot and The Pool of Time. And this is from Dark Horse. And what year was this done? And of course, this is also, and of course, I can't find the year. And but this one's in color. More Russ Manning, classic Russ Manning look. All kinds of dinosaurs and adventures, lost worlds and the like. And another outlet that does more than Tarzan. I've just got a couple volumes here. I've got another fistful. This is, come on. Oh, of course, that had to fall on the ground too. And the tape had to stick to that. Okay, see what else I can drop. Here we have Comics Review magazine. I've got more than these, but I just grabbed the 2 of them. This is 140 and 141. And they and these books were from the 80s. What year? See if it's what it says here. Oh. punk rock jazz productions. My first awareness of Tarzan came from Sunday matinee movies on WPIX Channel 11 NYC, the early 80s. I loved the old movies, very action packed for a little kid. Yeah, it wasn't until I was in my late teens that I ever got to see the old movies, the Johnny Weissmuller and stuff. And, now these is apparently still in production. You can comics Comics Review magazine still in production, but I think you have to order it online now. So just go and uh, um, Google Comics Review, and you should find it there. I have them on Facebook, although I haven't bought any in years. Uh, I'm old fashioned, and I need to pay it by check, and they don't have an address to send anything to. So, and this has uh, all kinds of comic strips, including Tarzan. Where is it? It said here on the cover, Tarzan by Russ Manning, which is not correct. It is, if I can find it now, as I said, if I can find it now, Ricochet has, of course, the Phantom. That's Lance. All kinds of old comic strips. Steve Kenyon. How come all of a sudden I cannot find the Tarzan strip when before, when I looked in here, it was the major part of the magazine? Huh. We'll find it. And this is not, most of the stuff I've seen in these were Russ Manning, but this isn't Russ Manning. Well, if I can't find it in that one, I'll find it in this one. And of course, it has to fall. I put it on the couch and it has to fall on the floor. It's Alley Oop. This one's got the Phantom, little Annie Oakley, little Orphan Annie, Flash Gordon, Dan Barry. Dan Barry, who of course was one of the Tarzan artists, is well, there's Russ Manning right there. But this isn't what I was looking for. Because when I looked in this before, I could find it had John Solardo dailies. But here's some more Russ Manning stuff. There we go. There it is. Tarzan, Paul Reinman. I'm sorry. Paul Reinman. And, of course, I mentioned him before, Paul Reinman. And I've done episodes featuring him. In the early 60s, Paul Reinman did the Archie comic superheroes, from Mighty Comics, the Mighty Crusaders and stuff. So, and everything has to fall apart. Okay, and here, then, the last that I've got of the comic strip stuff here is, this is book 4. Oh, I guess this is Blackthorn Tarzan series. This is book 4 of 4 from the miniseries. But this features the art of Gil Kane and Mike Grell. And, of course, you can recognize Gil Kane's stuff right there. And he did this comic strip for just a little while. And Gil Kane's done other comic strips as well. Some science fiction. With Ron Goulart did. I can't remember the name of it. I've got books of it out in the garage someplace. And here's Gil Kane doing some Tarzan comic strip. And I don't know if he ever did any Tarzan in the comic books. It's not that I am aware of. But then here is, after that, it's Mike Grell. This is an adventure that Mike Grell did in the comics. And of course, Mike Grell, one of the big hands at DC in the late 70s and early 80s for doing some, and it's, of course, rebooted the Green Arrow at DC, and very successfully. Had creator of John Sable Freelance, Star Slayer, and there's another one I can't remember the name of. So that was that. I'm down to 5. It's gone up and down, up and down. Sorry if I'm boring to people, but this is not. I've shown these before. All those Comics Review magazines I've never shown before. Now, but just because he was a comic strip artist, and many years later, Bern Hogarth did a couple of Tarzan graphic novels. And then this one is his adaptation of Tarzan of the Apes, or at least the first half of it, or thereabouts. And here he's more innovative in his page layouts. Now I've shown all this stuff in various episodes before, and of course this is his adaptation of find one that's actually got Tarzan. There's young Tarzan fighting the ape. This must be when he's fighting Bolgani, when he first just got his knife, and so he did that, and there's one something spectacular. That's what I was looking for. That spectacular one that he did, and he was, and of course as we saw his when he started on the Tarzan comic strip, his work bore little resemblance to this, but that was like this is done like 30 years later, so you can see how his style really developed and got even more dynamic, and he got more innovative in his page layout and did some great stuff. Let's see if you can make it out. That jungle scene is just magnificent, and I don't know if you can get the colors and stuff. Said, can I borrow $1? Don't have $1 to borrow. And then he also did this volume a few years later, which was adapting part of the Jungle Tales of Tarzan. But this one was published in black and white. And when I was doing reviewing this before, when I was talking about Hogarth's dynamic figure drawing book, I said, "Oh, there's some beautiful stuff." And some of these illustrations, it would make a really take the words out or even leave it with the words. It would make a magnificent coloring book for adults or children. Oh, there we go. So, and it's just some magnificent stuff. Okay, and we got 37 minutes. You got any questions, or that I may or may not be able to answer, or do you have any other comments regarding this stuff? You know, because I loves me my Tarzan. If you've followed my stuff, I still got scads of Tarzan comic books to show that I haven't showed it in episodes before. So, do you have plans on making new comics of your own? Not at the really at the moment. I do want to. I've got like those first two that I did. I have got, and that was mostly old stuff with some new stuff thrown in. I still have a bunch of other stuff I want to do books on. I just haven't done it. And I haven't lately. In the last 6 or 8 months, I haven't been working on it. But doing a Renaissance Festival coloring book, and I've got about half of the illustrations for that. But I should have and could have had it done a long time ago. I just haven't done it. And that's all. I've done a couple other things, but I don't know. But anything else? Because I don't know. I've got lots of Tarzan stuff. I've got Tarzan toys. When I was a kid, there wasn't many Tarzan toys out there, of course. But and even then, I couldn't get them. But I had all of the Burroughs Tarzan novels. I got all the comics I could. As I said, I don't even know who's got the comic rights to it now, and who is publishing. If they are, I don't know. So if there's nothing else, I'll here we are at 39 minutes, and I'll call it quits. And that would be all I've got for the Tarzan comic strip, which run for what 2002 over 70 years or so. How was my experience live streaming for the first time? Oh, that was fun. Fine. I didn't. That was just an experiment, and and I know you could do it. I just didn't know how, and still fumbling around with this stuff. But I don't know what else to tell you. Fortunately, I've lately, just recently, been able to connect with the Wi-Fi. We've had Wi-Fi in the house for years, and we didn't know it. And then for quite a while, we knew we had it, but we didn't know how to connect to it. So my wife needed to for her new laptop, and she still hasn't figured out how to get in and do stuff on that. But Sonic question? You mean Sonic the Hedgehog? I I don't do video games, and I only read one or two of the comics of Sonic comics, so I don't know anything about Sonic. So, but if that is going to be the end, now I don't remember how to end the live stream. Ha ha ha. But we'll make it leave it at that. Okay. Which one? Oh, did you read? Oh, was it? It was. I have no idea. It was back in the '90s. I have no idea. I did. I did draw one little page of Sonic the Hedgehog as a sample type page, just for fun. But if that's all, I will close it out the way I began it. Oh, Ongawa. Kriga Tarzan Bundle. Thank you for joining me. And well, I don't. I'll have some more live streams sometime in the future. Good night. And how do I shut this thing off, huh? I don't know. Well, good night. We'll see how it goes. Bye. Uh. Bye bye.